Hi everybody, welcome and thank you for being here to another guided message. This was a beautiful message and I am absolutely fascinated by the relevancy. If you have any questions or channeling, always super welcome to share in the comments, and I look forward to understand and get to know you more. I'm aware there are a few messages in the queue. It's been an intense fortnight, but this is me showing up I'm gonna pass this message and then I'm going to bed soon. So in the simplicity and raw basicness of my presentation, this message instead comes with lots of light and lots of wisdom. And what I was sharing is that I'm absolutely mind blown by relevancy of what are some of the most often challenges or situations that come up in this journey of remembering backwards about the soul path, about what we are here to do in this life collectively and individually, and the messages that come through. So for example, I may be faced with particular situation or challenges at an eye level, or exchanging conversation or noticing things in the community, and messages that are relevant come through. When this transmission comes, this occurs about 50 to 60% of the time. And the remaining, say 40%, would be messages that I was not expecting. It's like, this is a message for the public that needs to be shared. And so, curious like a child, having done a lot of discernment, knowing that this is true, I'm passing this along. Take what resonates with you, leave the rest, and let's read this beautiful message that contains 6 points, 6 beautiful points. So key, so important, that can be beneficial for everybody, whether you apply that to spirituality, to your mental health, to your professional life, to your relationship life. Listen along and see if these 6 points resonate with you. We are the Pleiadians, Council of Light, here with an important transmission. This message this time speaks to all of you who are struggling with something they do not know yet how to deal with, how to face, how to resolve it, or how to cope with it. If this is generally something you cannot resolve or address on your own, or something for which you haven't yet found external help, for example, something that you can address seeing a professional, a specialist, a health practitioner, an accountant, a family member, or something similar, then, dear one, first, number one, look within. What can you notice? What is usual and what is new? What is yours and what may not be? Make a list if this is beneficial. So really turning your focus, your attention within, and try to start with the awareness of what you notice, what you not, and then distinguish, see what's different to the normality, what is off, what is right and what is off, what is yours and what is not. Point number 2, attention. Pay attention to where your emotion and thoughts go throughout the day. Whatever it is that is affecting you, do not feed it. And this is highlighted. Do not feed it. Let it starve. This was in capital letter. Let it starve. Give it as minimum required words or noticing attention, and then completely ignore it. Of course, notice and address. Allow your emotion, allow the thoughts. Notice any programming or belief if you're able to do that, but be very wary of feeding it any further than necessary. You want to take the energy away from it, starve it, let it starve. Where your attention goes, where your focus goes, energy grows. So let it starve. Anything that doesn't serve you, is not in your best interest, put your focus away. Number 3, frequencies. Always seek to raise your frequencies and vibration in an authentic and genuine way. This works only when authentic. And yes, your frequencies are the number one most important thing, currency if you wish. Your energies, your vibes, as this will literally allow and create all the rest. Let's repeat. Your energies, your vibes will literally attract and create all the rest. Point number 4. You are not and never alone. Seek and call for higher help if you wish. Always specify for the higher help to be only in pure light and love. This is very important. So always make that specification. What you seek, and if you ask for help, it's not just a random help. You want to be very specific, only from pure light and love. Number 5, super important, discernment. Discernment is absolute key. Always, no matter what, particularly when you are tired, you are run down, busy, etc., take that extra second to always double check from and with your heart. You want to double check from the heart and within, that whatever the assumption you have or message you receive is accurate. Check if it is to be trusted. This is a fine skill. It's an ability, it's an art that can be learned. And it's okay if you don't know how to do yet. It can be taught and learned. I'm making a tiny integration here. And several times they have given me messages. One of the assignment for me is also to expand and give support to others on how to understand discernment. This comes with so many lessons on discernment, and if you are facing something, again, feel free to share it in the comment. I'll share more at the end of this video to give one practical example and technique, one constructive analogy that you can use, and also how to apply discernment. But more comes through in other future transmission as well. Point 6. Be gentle with yourself. At times, a solution may take time. So make sure you look after yourself. Self-care, and keep up your light and your integrity. Yes, even when the things are tough. This is a choice, and we cannot interfere, but we can surely tell you the price you would pay and the suffer if you compromise your light and your integrity. The price you would pay if you compromise those is far, far worse than the pain, the distress, the fear, the discomfort of whatever situation you may be facing now or in the future. So look after yourself. Patience, self-awareness, self-compassion, and care, along taking responsibilities and align actions for your own best interests are keys and highly crucial for your own well-being and for your long-term health. Always believe in yourself and keep knowing, keep reminding that clarity and health are on its way and all is here and now. We send you so much and infinite love and support. We love you dearly, the Pleiadians. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love the fact that this was arranged in those practical 6 steps. I'm not going to go into the process of automated writing for this video. What I care about share, if anything, I'll give you the analogy that I use to explain my mother how to understand discernment and how to make sense. So I use with her because discernment, in this case, and I've tested so many times, in the discernment of when the messages come through psychically, whether I'm channeling, whether I'm doing automatic writing. So it's not, it's so fascinating. I think this phrase was coming today from a book, an audiobook that I've heard at least 1,000 times on hermetic principles and universal law. And it was just reminding, we are, and we come from the extremities of the polarities, say for example, the light, the darkness, the fear, the courage, the love, the anger. So we may embody the different opposite of the polarities, but we are not the polarities. And we may experience different grades of the polarity from the light to the darkness and back and forth, but we are not the polarities. We are the consciousness behind the polarities. Sometimes the messages, you have to listen to them many times, and when you're ready, it would click. And it makes a lot of sense. So with the discernment, what I was saying is, I'm fascinated and I'm in awe of all the mediums, the channelers and the psychics that in this reason here came across my path that I wasn't expecting via podcasts, YouTube videos, in person, etc. And the majority of the people just speaks about the light, just speaks about, yes, there is that sense of knowing that you are protected, that you are in love, that everything is love, and what comes is always in the light. I am not sure if that was the path that they needed to experience. I am not sure if those was different times. And as we are 2024, 2025, approaching even tougher transition and solution even to do with, again, consciousness rising, I'm not sure if this applies to everyone or this applies to a percentage to experience different phases, different shades of gray, different shades of the polarity of the discernment between the light and the darkness, even in the reliability of what comes, what is true and what is not. What is truly a message in light and what is an interference. When you have a thought, when you have a download, when you're thinking or when you sense, you're following your gut sense, how do you know this is true? How do you know this is in your best interest? And many times you know, many times yourself will tell you. But sometimes if you rush and if for whatsoever reason there are interferences, and again, this may arise with the times we are in, hopefully not for everybody, then how do you discern? If you neither are aware that you may want to distinguish that these things may even occur. And so time, testing over time is always important. I'll get back to the analogy I make to my mothers to help her understand how discernment can be. I asked my mother to think about when she received a text message on her phone number. So in the same similar way, majority of the time could be a friend or a family member in her best interest. This is like most mediums, the channelers, or even you, if you have a download, a gut sense, if you have a vision, if you start to do automatic writing for yourself. Most of the times, if you've done your basic protection or stronger protection, meditation cleansing, chakra cleansing at the beginning, if you've set your intention, that should be enough. You have your phone, only your trusted people have your number, that should be enough, what comes through in your best interest. But sometimes you may receive a message that is a bit odd, or an unsolicited or uninvited, unwanted message. How do you know what is the degree of the severity of that occurring? How do you know if it's just a trick? In spirituality, those are called like tricksters, like spirit around, just trying to play around with you, to mock you around, but not really evil, so to say. And how do you know if instead it's something even to report, or something that you need to take preventative or further action to protect yourself? In the example of the writing would be to stop immediately the transmission, for example. And this occurs several times to me. So in the example of the text message, sometimes the message, like your phone number, could have happened to be added without your permission to a business contact list. And so say, for example, you receive messages from other businesses trying to sell you product, and this would be unsolicited. They're a bit annoyed, but they're not with such a bad or evil intention, okay? So it's something that, okay, you ignore it, send him off, don't respond, or just say, I'm not interested, and that's it, you've done, you're protected. Sometimes you would have some sort of scam. So I said, Mom, do you know when you receive that text message, and if you read properly, there would be error in spells or grammar, or they may include a link that is not really, it doesn't look right, something is off. Okay, that's an example of a situation where you want to pause, you want to slow down, it's okay to ask questions, don't respond, don't engage, as the Pleiadians say, give it as minimum energy required, just enough to understand, then pause, detach. If it's an example of a download or a thought that you have, try to establish that communication within, with your heart, and try to discern, is this true or is it not? Is this in the light or this is not? And if you're not sure, seek for help. You might ask for help in the example of the text message to a family member that is more experienced. But you see, there are circumstances where you are not challenging and still you would have a sense that something is off, or there is a feeling it is you but it's not completely you, or a conversation may be happening within your mind, your nervous system, that are not really uplifting, that are not really so protective of your best interest. This is also an example of when might be actually a good idea to practice discernment and to practice going within you and practice that awareness. As they say, maybe make a list. What are your thoughts? What is usual? What is not? For example, if you're talking to yourself in a way that is supportive, or if you're hearing yourself saying words that are putting yourself down, and it may not be you, maybe just a voice, maybe an energy and you just feel sluggish or shattered or confused on those days. These are things that can happen and they can be cleansed. In the example of the text message, so we said if something is off, you can sort of understand it. There is a link, looks a bit suspicious. That situation is a little bit easier to like sort of ring a bell, or it is more overt red flag. But there are more covert red flags. There are sometimes signs, say for example, nowadays, with even like the rising of AI and technology being way more sophisticated, and you have so many tools that can simulate what is normally true and package it in a way that the text message that the phone would receive seems innocent, really, and instead it's not. But there was actually one where poor her, she got confused for real when the text message, maybe some of you relate to this or like so witness something similar. The text message would say, hey mom, lost my phone, please click this link and I need you to send me some money, or just click this link. Just imagine a mother just in that, when you're triggered on the things that matter the most to you, those are the moments where it's harder to even understand in the first place that it might be a scam or that you need to discern. When channeling is the same, whether you're channeling for yourself or you may be channeling or writing for others, or again, you're just seeking advice within to understand what is the best path or the best decision for you. Pay attention and also know the higher the hook, the higher you are invested. In this case, maybe you're asking about a family member or about something that you're very passionate about. Now it happened to me. It was something that I really wanted to know, and the message started to come through. And it was like really need to be switched on perceiving something that is so subtle yet is off. As they say, pause. Take your time. Make sure that you take that extra second to pause, asking question. Now the important thing is that I didn't receive these instructions and then go on and okay, this is the exercise, go and practice. It doesn't happen that way. In my journey, for whatsoever reason, it is actually the opposite. thing happens and it happens and it happens, and it's like I'm left on my own, we don't know guidance, having to figure out what is on. And once I unveil, once I even understand that something is off, there's something going on, then some communication starts to get through. If it's a moment where still support is needed, I may try crafting requests for help in so many ways. Like the person with the text message, and then say, for example, you click on the link, now what do? You may try several things. Okay, call the bank, lock the credit card, change the password on the computer, and ultimately allow time and try again to check. You talk to the family member, hey, daughter, did you really send me the message? Yes, no. You try to seek for additional way to validate. That comes from within you and from external sources. So when you try to apply discernment, whether in something in the tangible life or outside, it might be similar. Is this making sense in any way? This was beautiful because, again, this can be applied to any time that a situation, a person, doesn't have to be channeling. It doesn't have to be an intrusion, an attachment of any sort. But any time that you are faced with a situation or a challenge that you don't know yet how to solve it. And something beautiful that they remind at the end, if you keep staying in light, if you keep staying in integrity, because also sometimes situation, people, non-situation, so even when nothing is happening, sometimes that is testing your patience. It's testing, are you truly staying in light? You said you want to change, you said you want to become a better person. I'm making this up as an example. Sometimes I hear this from client. And then, say for example, they try to endure or practice the change or the better behavior for a week or two, and then it's like, that's it. This didn't work. I'm back to before. And just keep trying. What matters the most to you? And it's like once you corrupt that integrity, once you corrupt that light, every degree you go off the track is going to be more and more difficult to come back to your original path. So I so much resonate and relate with the alignment of don't fool yourself for convenience. Remember that there's a price to pay. When you give up integrity, when you give up light, it might seem like you're taking a shortcut. Switch on, be very wary, be very aware of the fact there's going to be a higher price to pay. And the further off you wander away from light and your integrity, ethics, value, treating others like you want to be treated, walking away from truth, the harder, the higher the price to pay to then rekindle with that sense of purity. Think it this way. The more things get shattered or challenged around you, the more it's going to be more and more crucial to be able to have that peace of calm, of truth, of light within. Do you relate? There's another last beautiful analogy for this video, which refers to people being like the part of a tree. And there are the people that are like the leaves. So you see very easily they would move with the wind. It's like you don't want to be close by those people that are unpredictable, ungrounded, often unhappy, and even changing behavior, like being influenced by whatever movement of the wind. And then you would have the branches of the tree. And you want to be cautious with the branches because sometimes they can fool you. They sort of look sturdy and stable. Although if things start to shake a little bit more, then they go off and move. And then you have the trunk and the roots. And that is sturdy, is stable, is reliable. No matter what happens, the roots especially, no matter what happened, the roots would stay. Unless it's really, really major. But the majority of cases, the stability, the depth, the profoundness, the strength of the roots. And so those are the people that you want to recognize. Those are the people that you want to have in your circle. And if you wish, those are the type of person that you may want to become like. Doesn't matter what happened, doesn't matter what changes with circumstances around you, material, unmaterial, health, love situation, family, work, finances, climate, anything. If you're able to find and foster and create within you that space of reliability, of light, of strength, of groundness, of integrity, then everything is going to be much better. And as they remember, rest reassured that either clarity, help, or both are on their way. Sometimes you need to be patient and always ask, because universe, God, not always can interfere. They make it clear many times this was part of the collective agreement. Now, whether you believe to this or not doesn't really matter. You can just think about a situation where help somehow came, and other times where it took more times. So if you know that sometimes things just take a little bit longer to manifest, then know how to foster your truth, your light, as you practice patience until things are resolved. And they will. I send you so much light. I'm going to close the message for now, and I'll see you in the next one. Reach out if you need anything or any comment. I'll say this one more time. This channel initially started to share what are my knowledge, my services to connect with others, sometimes even to put out my face so that my family on the other side and my colleagues, my friends, my ex-students from the other side of the world initially could even see me. And then I've sort of been tricked. Like these messages started to come through and say, okay, Federica, now 2 + 2 is 4. Use your channel to start putting this message out. And even if it's so incredibly small at time, it doesn't matter. Even if there's that one person that resonates, that is enough. But what I want to say is, surely, those of you who know me, what I do for fitness or other activities that I do, if I wanted to grasp attention, I wouldn't be doing this. This is responding to another call, and this is being at service, and I'm saying this from my heart. So the time that I show up with those messages and any integration that I allow, I know this is for the greater good. And so there is no trying to sell something or anything behind it. Yes, for the services that I do professionally, that is different. But if I show up with a channel message and these are in a different playlist, this is different. So if you want to stay skeptic, please do so. If you want to stay curious or have any comment, integration, or question, feel welcome to ask. And if you want to take time to wonder, to observe, to take time, take all the time, you will find the messages resonate, and this is also part of the discernment. This is part of you practicing the discernment in your life and trying to understand who can you trust, who can you not. And even if you trust the person more or less, can you trust the message? Can you trust all of the message or part of the message? Just all of the message resonates with you or just a part of it? Make it simple, make it complex, make it like you, make it in a way that helps you to navigate better through your path of evolution as a soul, as a human. And I hope this is helpful. Good night, everybody. Thank you.